Good afternoon and Happy New Year. I call this meeting of the Rotary Club of Oakland to order. I'm Dudley Thompson, and I have the honor to serve as the president of the Rotary Club of Oakland. Founded in 1908, we are the third established Rotary Club of some 36,000 clubs in over 200 countries around the world. We're a diverse community of some 270 local business, professional, and community leaders who unite to improve local and international communities through a common commitment of service above self. For over 113 years, we have welcomed Rotarians and guests to this, our 5,369th meeting. If you're visiting Rotarian or the guest of a Rotarian, please enter your name in the chat box located at the center of the bottom of the screen so that we can recognize you in a few minutes. We recommend that you view today's meeting using Speaker View, located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you have comments or want to ask a question of the speaker, please use the chat box. For our thought for the day, I welcome Rotarian Debo Sarkar.
Thank you, President Dudley, fellow Rotarians, and honored guests. Today, I bring a message of sanity, sanctity, and serenity from the country of my birth to the troubled country where I have built my home. An ocean of bliss may rain down from the heavens, but if you hold up only a thimble, that is all you receive. Wisdom leads to unity, ignorance to separation. Spirituality automatically leads to humility. When a flower develops into a fruit, the petals drop off on its own. When one becomes spiritual, the ego vanishes gradually on its own. A tree laden with fruits always bends low. Humility is a sign of greatness. Thus spake Sri Ramakrishna. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Debo. For those that you don't know, I get to watch Debo in that room twice a week when we work out at 6 o'clock in the morning together. That's his office and his gymnasium, and I don't know, maybe just his basement cage that he lives in. Jack, could you put up the Rotary Vision Statement? I invite you to recite our vision statement with me. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. If you're here, you probably received my message that due to the recent rapid surge of the COVID virus, we have decided to take the precaution of meeting online, at least through the month of January and the first week of February. This decision will be reviewed later this month. The events we planned, including Comedy Night at the Sound Room, the Pacific Pinball Museum, and Lunar New Year, are being rescheduled or revisioned. We will let you know as the details become clearer. I appreciate your understanding and support to provide spaces that members can trust that are safe as reasonably possible. Rotary should demonstrate how to live fully during a time when we must take precautions to protect ourselves and each other. Our wonderful Anna Marie Jones puts it this way: we, as Oakland Rotary number 3, will be the best of what Rotary represents. Our messages and our action will give people hope, access to resources, and safe ways to engage and support our community. We will innovate, we will explore, we will squeeze every drop of goodness and opportunity out of the situation that we've been handed. This is who we are. This week, our special guest for our Civic Thursday Club meeting will be Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf. We will also induct 2 new members and hold a special meeting to approve revisions to our bylaws and constitution. Ed Jelen, I think you're out there. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today?
Yes, we do, President Dudley, and yes, I am out here. As far as visiting Rotarians go, very happy to introduce from the Rotary Club of Pleasanton North, our district governor, Richard Flanders, who is honoring us with his presence today. I might add, most people don't know, but at the end of his or her term, the district governor has to rate each club. So we should be on our very best behavior today because Richard is observing us. We also have another visiting Rotarian here today, guest of President-elect Mary Jeong, and that's from the Rotary Club of Dublin, Patty Pringle. So welcome, Patty. Nice to have you with us. And then we have some wonderful guests also with us. Mary Jeong brought 2 other guests. We have Adam Jeong and Adam Pimentel visiting with us today. And then Allison Bliss brought her friend Bonnie Sita today. So welcome to all of those visitors. Past President Linda Bosenegger brings with us a second-time visitor who's a principal at BTR Capital. So please welcome Bob Welsh. Nice to have you with us, Bob. And then finally on my list, Keith Uriarte brought a guest with them who is the president of the Oakland Police Officers Association, Barry Donlin. So Sergeant Barry Donlin, welcome and hope you enjoy your visit with our club today. And that's our list.
Jennifer
today.
Pringle too.
We did. We got her.
No, you got Patty.
Oh, we have another Pringle here? Well,
Yep.
Oh,
okay, well, 2 Pringles in one meeting.
Yes.
Welcome, Jennifer. Thank you.
welcome to all of our guests. If we were in the ballroom today, we'd all be standing and applauding you. So please know that you're appreciated and you're welcome here today. We have special, it's always special when we can induct new members. Wendy Howard, would you please introduce Kevin Hunter for us? You're muted, Wendy. There we go.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's a real pleasure to introduce our first new member of 2022, Kevin Hunter. Kevin is a 3rd-generation Californian. He currently is vice president of Johnstone Supply, overseeing 5 branches: Oakland, South San Francisco, San Jose, Hayward, and Concord. 2 organizations that helped shape Kevin was the Boys Club, when in 1986 he was awarded with their highest honor. Later, the U.S. Coast Guard in 1997 honored him with their highest honor. And I'm sure that his membership in Rotary will contribute much value to him as he will contribute to us. And just an aside, even before Kevin had been approved for membership, he and his wife Jill had signed up to volunteer for the St. Vincent food drive that was canceled last fall. But I look forward to enjoying Kevin as a member of our club. Thank you and welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. I always have to treat Kevin especially nice because Johnstone has been one of my customers for a long time, and I want to keep it that way. So welcome, Kevin. And Keith Jerome.
President Dudley, it is my pleasure to introduce Jean Raines to the club today. She is an Oakland educator and a wonderful client and friend for many years. 2 things about Jean. While she was a teacher, her emphasis was to take kids on field trips out into nature, Muir Woods, Point Reyes, seashore, etc. It gave her a tremendous amount of joy to see them in a wider sense of what was out there in the world and what was available to them. Item 2, she is a music lover. She loves to go hear live music and currently is focused on the richness of the jazz scene here in the East Bay. Everyone, please welcome Jean to our club.
everybody.
Jean and Kevin, it's so good to have you here. We will, your first time when we get back to the ballroom, give you a special standing ovation. I think that's always one of the most special occasions. I still remember when I joined 27 years ago, that day when the club stood up and appreciated me at that time, and we will appreciate you. We're happy that you have chosen to join us. Know that your family and friends are always welcome to join us to participate in our projects and our events. By choosing to join us, you have accepted the Rotary vision, and you also agree to conduct yourself according to the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better relationships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When you get back to the ballroom, your red badge will be waiting for you, indicating your new member status. You'll also receive your Rotary pin, a symbol that identifies you as a Rotarian, which we hope you will wear with pride. Your commitment is to attend meetings, participate in service activities, practice service above self, and contributing to the Rotary Foundation and the Oakland Rotary Endowment. It is just my pleasure and my privilege to induct you as our newest members of the Rotary Club of Oakland. Welcome.
Thank you, Dudley.
Michael Bruck. Could you highlight Michael Bruck out there for me, please? There we go. Michael. Jack, do you have a picture of a magazine out there? I have a copy of the December Piedmont Living magazine. The cover has a photo of a past president. I think that's you, because Carolyn's there, and I assume that's you with her, and a cat. The caption reads, "An inspiring visit with former Mayor Michael Bruck and his wife, Carolyn." Mike, must be exciting to appear on the cover of a magazine.
Well, it is exciting. It's a real honor to show up in every home in the city of Piedmont.
Speaking of the honor, would you like to honor the Rotary Club of Oakland?
Well, I'm guessing you're suggesting a bell ringer, and I could do that, but you know, Carolyn and our cat Glinda also appeared on the cover, and I think it's only fair that they each pay 1/3 of the bell ringer.
You know, Michael, we had the script, but I'm going to go off script here for a second. You know, this magazine, you know, it indicated that you might want to ring the bell, which is a generous $100 gift to the Oakland Rotary Endowment. You know, we'll accept that, and I'll ring the bell in a second. But you know, this article is 4 pages long. You know, that's, you know, I still think maybe the three of you, especially that cat, could ring the bell for us. And, you know, today's Libby Shaft, this is her last year. Maybe, are you getting on here just so you can announce you're going to run for mayor?
Absolutely not. I'll tell you what, let's recalculate this, and I'll pay $25 for each page of that 4-page article. How does that work out?
Okay, I'll let you go for that. Thank you, Michael.
You're
and
welcome.
It's a great article. It's really a special article. So everybody who can get a copy of the magazine, or maybe actually what we'll do is we have a PDF copy and we'll put it in the Live Oak, and so anybody can download the article. It's a great story, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, you know, because we had to do a little pivoting, I forgot to bring the bell here to my office. So it just happens that one of my employees keeps his drum kit here. So we're substituting the bell from his drum kit here today. Okay, Mary, could you highlight Mary out there? Mary Gian. So Mary, you've had something really special in your life, and I know you're going to fight winter to go back to be with this special occasion.
Yes, I like to ring a bell on behalf of Lily Charlotte. She is my granddaughter. She's wearing her New Year Eve outfit. She was born on November 22nd, so she's truly a Thanksgiving baby. And so it's snowing, cats and dogs in the East Coast. But next week I'm going to go visit Lily, and she's the first grandchild on both sides of the family.
Great.
I like to ring a bell.
Great. Thank you, Mary. I'm not going to tease another $200 or $300 out of you, because actually these two bell ringers will be the first two bell ringers for Tom Lamone's year. So yours ended last December, and I think you collected a whole lot of money for your year. So thank you for starting Tom off right, and congratulations on your grandchild. Jack McAvoy, could you highlight Jack? You have Jack. There we go. Jack, would you share, as I understand, Frank Bruck, who's not a current active member, but was a member for a very long time, died recently. Could you share a little bit about Frank?
Yeah, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rewards one receives out of being a member of Oakland Rotary are the lifelong friendships and fascinating people that one gets to know. Frank Brunk was one of those people, and also is a local icon, which some of you may know. Frank played football at the University of California, Berkeley, and in 1949, he ran a 102-yard kickoff back against USC to put Cal in the Rose Bowl in 1950. He later went on to establish the golf program at Cal, helping to raise over $30 million to fund it. And Cal actually won the NC2A championship in golf in 2004. Frank was a true gentleman, a great Rotarian. He died 10 days ago at the age of 95. He had a full life and was a great guy. So let's all have a moment of silence in honor of Frank Brunk.
Thank you for that, Jack. And for the golfers out there, and especially the Cal golfers, not only did he raise 30 million, but I think it was, I read his obituary, which we'll put on, we'll put a link to in the live vote. But the Cal had taken golf out of varsity sports, I think in 1979. And it was Frank who really drove the whole the force to get it back as a varsity sport, which led to them becoming NCAA champions in 2004. Anyway, thank you very much, Jack. Tricia Connors, are you out there? Could you highlight Tricia Connors for me, please?
I'm
Tricia,
here.
do you have
Hi.
some news for us?
I do. Thank you, Dudley, and Happy New Year, everyone. We are so excited to introduce this year's 2022 Oakland Rotary Endowment Gala. It will be held on Thursday, April 28th, 2022, in person. There are indoor and outdoor options available if we need them at Sequoia Country Club in Oakland. So mark your calendars. When deciding on a theme for this year, Carrie Hamill, myself, and our fabulous team of volunteers kept coming back to the word gratitude, right? We are so grateful for our fellow Rotarians, for our health, and for the great work that Oakland Rotary number 3 does throughout the year. So this year's theme is In the Mood with Gratitude. We have a lofty fundraising goal this year. We hope to net $100,000. That's almost double the amount that we raised last year at the virtual casino night, but we know that Rotarians are going to be excited to reconnect. Expect a call within the next week or so as we are gathering sponsors for the gala. We want to make sure that all sponsors are recognized prominently on the promotional materials as we move forward towards the date. So with gratitude, thank you, and we'll see you in the mood with gratitude.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Really looking forward to that event. And as Tricia said, it's going to be at Sequoia. And one of the things that's, I'm going to say special about doing it there this year, two things. They are not charging us a fee, which a lot of the other locations are going to charge us maybe $15,000 or $18,000. But the second thing is, because everything is so much up in the air with COVID right now, we have an option of doing it outside there. So we hope to do it inside and kind of have a very special dressed up affair there. But we do have the option to go outside. So we really plan that the gala will happen, and it will be on the date that we have. Thank you. So we need to do some business. The last meeting was our annual meeting, and this meeting we have to deal with some geeky stuff of Rotary, but it has to do with the bylaws and the Constitution. And so everyone was emailed on December 10th a notice that we were going to do this today, and we included the amendments to the Constitution and the bylaws. Everyone should have received this by email, and the board of directors voted on these amendments last year. I think it was in May. And I'm going to first ask Secretary Michael Bruck if he could confirm that we have a quorum present.
Yes, we do, President Dudley. We have well over a quorum today.
Thank you. So in order to pass the bylaws and the Constitution, we need a 2/3 vote of the quorum. Guests and honorary members do not vote for this. We will do a voice vote, a yay or nay, and then we'll ask for any objections. As I understand, Michael, in the email you had asked for any comments on the proposed amendments, and I have not received any. And have you received any?
I have not.
Okay. I will ask if anybody has questions, but I will highlight some of the changes. I hope we can do this without objection. Anyway, first we're going to let me just give a brief introduction to it. Is that Rotary, and this is really what Michael had written with the email, but because they're bylaws and Constitution, I know many people don't read these things, so let me at least give an introduction. Rotary International approves a standard they approved a standard club constitution in 2016 and required the adoption by all clubs. The old Oakland Rotary Club Constitution was repealed, and a new Rotary Club of Oakland Constitution was adopted by the members in 2017. The amendment to the club bylaws was to be consistent with the new Constitution, and it was also approved in January of 17. What happens is the Rotary International Council on Legislation meets every 3 years, and they vote on proposed changes to the legislation that governs Rotary at the international and the club levels. The most recent council on legislation met in April of 2019. This council approved numerous changes to the standard club constitution. On March 23rd, 2021, the Board of Directors approved and updated our club constitution that incorporates these revisions. Most of the Council on Legislation provisions involve grammar and language and organizational changes. I will just note a couple of the changes, a few changes. With regard to meetings, it's a small change, but I have to say to the president, it's a big change, is that we give a mid-year, we were always been required to give a mid-year report, which I gave at the last meeting. But going forward, it will also include a financial report of income and expenses of the previous year. The other thing is you can always find copies of the minutes of board meetings online. And if you go to the website and your member access, that gets you into Club Runner. And in there is a section where we put up the minutes of all of the board meetings if you're ever interested. One change that affected our club actually was that previously holders of public office could not be members of Rotary if their designation was that, such as council member. We've since added 2 of the Oakland council members to our club. Let's see. And I think one thing that is of special interest to our club was an expansion of that's called diverse club membership. And I will read that section. The club's membership should represent a cross-section of business professions, occupations, and civic organizations in its community, including age, gender, and ethnic diversity. And our club is trying very hard to recognize that and give focus on diversity within our club. One other thing I will just add has to do with a change in the date. It's kind of a technical thing, but there was a bylaw or a constitution change that says the annual meeting had to be the second meeting in December, and in one of the other documents it had to be in December. We're making it in December to give a little bit more flexibility when that meeting is held. Do I have a motion to?
I so move. I move that we accept.
Okay, Jack, I'm going to hold you to the bylaws, and I'm going to let Linda Bosnecker do the Constitution.
Oh, good.
I appreciate that. Linda Bosnecker.
Okay, President Dudley and fellow Rotarians, I move that we accept the Constitution with the changes as presented.
Do I have a second? And I think Tricia Connor. Oh,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
second the motion.
Okay, now we will make this more open. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor, I'm going to say, raise your hand.
Signify by
And
saying.
if you object, please just put an objection in chat because it's kind of hard to watch this whole screen. I'll give you 30 seconds to object.
Reactions, hands up.
Okay. Seeing no objections, I declare that the new Constitution is adopted. Secondly is the club bylaws. Do I have a motion to accept the club bylaws?
So moved.
Okay, Jack, thank you. And Debo, do I have a second to that motion?
I second, President Dudley.
Okay, so anyway, so we've got the bylaws. This is very much language change to the bylaws. Things like Rotary Magazine used to be called Rotary Magazine, or called the Rotarian. Now it's Rotary, and I don't go through anymore because it's really just language changes primarily. Do I have any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise their hand and kind of shake it around. I will give 30 seconds to anyone who objects to put it in chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The bylaws are adopted. Okay. I'm hoping that I can't see everybody, but I'm hoping that Libby is out there. Libby joined us?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Sess.
She's here.
Yeah, she's here. Okay, great. Welcome, Libby.
It's 1 o'clock.
Welcome, Libby. It's good to have you, and we're going to go right to Sess, and then you're up. Thank you. Sess, would you please introduce our guest speaker?
All right, this is my pleasure. Mayor Libby Schaaf was born and raised in Oakland, which she proudly describes as the most unapologetic sanctuary city in America. During her tenure, Oakland has undergone the economic revitalization and building boom, as well as cut the gun violence in half. Her 1717 housing plan, 17K housing plan has helped increase Oakland's affordable housing production, stabilize rent, and decrease evictions. Her innovative public-private partnerships keep Oakland housed, and cabin communities are credited with preventing some 1,800 families a year from losing their housing, while resolving some of Oakland's most unsafe street encampments. In 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom appointed Mayor Schaaf to California's first Council of Regional Homeless Advisors. She created Oakland's first Department of Transportation, whose equity-based paving plan is the first of its kind in the nation and will make previously underserved neighborhoods safer while addressing the city's decades-old infrastructure backlog. Mayor Schaaf is most proud, and I would say I'm probably most proud too, of launching the Oakland Promise, a bold cradle-to-career initiative to send more low-income Oakland kids to college. The Oakland Promise has sent more than 1,400 Oakland students and counting to college with scholarships and mentors, and will give every baby born into poverty a $500 college savings account at birth. Truly a legacy that she's leaving to our city. Those are some of the highlights of this mayor as she enters the last year of her two-term, 8-year term as our mayor. I'm pleased and privileged to present to Oakland Rotary number 3 for one final time, my mayor, the Honorable Libby Schaaf.
Oh, thank you so much, Sess. Thank you, Rotary International number 3, one of the most incredible group of civic leaders that Oakland is blessed to have. I just look around the Zoom room and see so many longtime friends. I won't call you old. I see so many people that I got to know when I was an active Rotary member, not just honorary, in the mid-90s, sponsored by my dearly departed godfather, Harold Lawrence. I see so much history and so many values, and just the personification of service over self when I look out at this room. So thank you, Rotary, for what you have done for Oakland and what you've done for me personally. It is, as Sess kind of painfully put, my very last time giving you a New Year's address as your mayor. And while I want to be reflective of the positive things that have happened in the past and talk to you about what's in store for this upcoming new year, I want to just start first and foremost by acknowledging our shortfalls. Sess, I've got to modify my bio because it is no longer fair to claim cutting gun violence in half when that accomplishment has been removed by the tragic levels of gun violence that we have seen in the last 2 years. Know that my focus in this last year as your mayor, and believe me, I plan to run through that tape hard, is going to be addressing public safety first and foremost, homelessness, and the general state of blight in our city. Our city deserves to be beautiful in every single neighborhood, in every single corner. That is my focus. That is my commitment to you. Those are the changes that you should expect to see over this next year. Now, I do want to be a little, sentimental. It's many of the friendships that I made from this club that influenced and inspired my agenda, particularly the Oakland Promise came directly out of my experience as a Hope mentor. Jack McAvoy, you've been an amazing champion for education. David Stein. I'm going to get in trouble if I start mentioning people. So just know that you all, Dudley Thompson, I remember you from when I was at Marcus Foster. You all have just been so incredible and huge influences on me. And when I was running for mayor 8 years ago, it was pretty disconcerting to people talk about Oakland's potential. We were always talking about our potential. And as I reflect with you on the last few years of Oakland's history, and we lift our heads for one sweet moment above the tragedy and stress of this pandemic, I suggest to you that we have moved from being obsessed with our potential to some absolute proof that Oakland has, in fact, arrived. Let's talk about what that proof is, and let's spend a moment reflecting on where this city has come in good ways. And let's talk about the way that I, for one, love how this city is growing. It's growing with its values, first and foremost, of equity, but it is fabulous to see us building the desperately needed housing to not only put a roof over the heads of our most vulnerable, but also to welcome the new energy, the new people that want a taste of Oakland's secret sauce, that want to be part of our future, that want to be citizens of the most diverse city in America. And that is a great thing. We all were impressed with Jerry Brown's 10K goal. Well, we tried to advance that by setting a 17K goal, 17,000 new units of housing for Oakland. And I am excited to report that we will hit that goal 2 years early. In fact, we're still crunching the numbers from 2021, but it is very likely that we have already hit that goal of 17,000 new units of housing in Oakland. And 2,100 of them are deeply affordable for our struggling workforce, our formerly homeless. That is a number that we have to do better on, but it is a very important increase to what we were able to do in the past. And it's not just housing that's growing. I, for one, have been so proud to see companies deciding to put Oakland, California on their masthead. The idea that headquarters are coming to Oakland from the likes of Blue Shield, PG&E, Credit Karma. It is so great to see people actually lifting up the Oakland brand. And of course, we love the new jobs that have come with them. I think it's important to recognize that we're not just building new structures, we're building on Oakland values. And that we haven't just changed the skyline, we've changed the headlines. And that is just as important for Oakland's kind of soul as the physical improvements in our city. I know that it has meant a lot to Oaklanders. It's not sexy, but we are finally fixing the damn roads. I don't know about you, but I was starting to give names to my personal favorite potholes. And together, because you came forward and passed a historic infrastructure bond in Oakland called Measure KK, and you supported me in creating the city's first Department of Transportation, we have finally set all-time goals for paving our roads. And that's the ultimate fix to the pothole problem. I have a little slide. I want you to see the 10 years of new streets that were repaved in Oakland before we came into office. This is 10 years of paving in the city of Oakland. Now let's see what we've done in the last 7 years. Because in just the last 3 years, we repaved 100 miles of roads. We improved the average condition score of our pavement for the first time in well over a decade. And here's what I promise you going forward. For the next 5 years, we are going to replace or repair 350 miles of roads. Look at that. Now we're talking. And that is because of your supporting the infrastructure investment that we know this city deserves. And then let's talk about our values and how we've built on them. We have, and Seth, it's really important to shout out you as one of an individual contributor to the Oakland Promise, which has become nationally recognized as the nation's most comprehensive cradle to career system of supports for student success in the country. We are giving babies born into poverty $500 college savings accounts and financial coaching for their parents. We're creating college going cultures in elementary schools. We're providing counselors and supports for linked learning, career education, and demystifying college applications and financial aid in middle schools and high schools. And as Seth pointed out, we are sending well over 500 students every year, and that number grows every year, to college, not just with cash scholarships, but also with mentors. Because Rotary, you know that mentorship means everything. And we want our students not just get to college, but get them through college. And it is working. With 3 times the continuation rate of the national average for students of their sort. So we are producing this, and there's more that we can do to double down on making sure that every child born in Oakland is successful. And I do want to talk about how we have invested in changing the horrible, soul-scathing problem of homelessness in our cities. Thanks to partnership with the business community, and I particularly want to call out the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce for being our partner in pioneering something that is now used throughout California, and that is the cabin community or tiny village model. This has really moved us and revolutionized shelter, moving away from the congregate shelter where you have like a gym full of cots to more dignified shelter that people are willing to accept, where people go to bed at night behind a locked door with their partner, their pets, and their possessions, and most importantly, their privacy. When our point in time count is done this year, I am very confident that we will see almost a triple number of people that are now not unsheltered homeless, but sheltered. We've been able to get people off our streets and into safety and services. And we could not have done that without you. You know, the Bay Area Council Economic Institute did an analysis of what it's going to take to get the Bay Area out of this homeless crisis. And they identified the cabin community model that was pioneered in Oakland as the most worthy shelter intervention that should be scaled throughout the Bay Area. It would not have happened without you. And we've also gotten recognized for our efforts to prevent homelessness. No one should ever experience homelessness. And in Oakland, we know people who have experienced it in the past are far more likely to experience it again. And again, a public-private partnership, we launched Keep Oakland Housed, which now is actually keeping more than 2,000 households a year from falling back into homelessness. We all know an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We also received national headlines for launching one of the largest demonstrations of guaranteed income, yet another innovation that is designed to stabilize families and prevent homelessness. As I reflect back on my 7 years as your mayor, I will not lie, there have been a lot of hard things, a lot of crises to navigate. But one of the things I've enjoyed most is being your hustler in chief, to get people to invest in Oakland, whether it is institutional investors who have finally begun investing in our housing developments and commercial buildings, or it's national philanthropies that have invested in Oakland, believing that our innovative interventions are the ones that can actually tackle some of the most vexing urban problems in America, like education, like homelessness. My staff has started to total up the complete amount of philanthropy that we've been able to attract for initiatives that have been launched by our office. And the total is somewhere around $140 million. I always say every Oakland girl has a hustle. Now let's talk about what we are getting ready to prove this year. First and foremost, crime. We have got to make this city safer. And I am very pleased that the City Council recently supported an increase to our police department. I have long been an unapologetic supporter of having an adequately staffed and reformed police department, but it must be adequately staffed. And I'm very pleased that recent action was taken to increase the force by 60 more officers, as well as to redistribute our patrol system so that we have more resources focused in East Oakland, which has been most plagued, especially with violent crime. And I am confident that we can cut gun violence in half once again. We did it just a few years ago. Seth, that's why that's in my bio. I believe we can do it again. The pandemic certainly interrupted so many of our efforts, and particular pieces of our ceasefire strategy, which has been nationally recognized as making one of the most dramatic cuts to gun violence that any city has ever seen. And so as I am advocating for some reversals of bail policies that were put in place at the beginning of this pandemic, as I am looking to double down on our violence interrupters, these are the professionals that are trusted messengers that literally respond to the homicide scene, show up at the hospital bed with someone who's just been shot. These are people that are interrupting those cycles of retaliatory violence. They couldn't work during the pandemic. They are back, and we have doubled their numbers in just the last 2 months. So this is why I am absolutely determined to make Oakland safe again. And then I always like to give a request to each and every one of you. One thing that I hope you can do to help us with public safety is please consider purchasing and installing a security camera on your home or your business. Point it towards the street and register it with the Oakland Police Department. You can Google it, it's easy to find. And that is one way that we can deter crime, as well as actually charge people and hold people accountable who have committed crimes. So that's one thing everybody can do to help. One other thing that we're going to show this year is a complete dedication to our students' success. I am very pleased that just within the last week, the Appellate Court of California affirmed the Measure AA ballot measure that was voted on by Oaklanders in 2018. More than 62% of Oaklanders voted for it. It was tied up in the courts, asking whether or not it required a 50% or a 2/3 vote. And the courts have definitively said that AA is validated and that we can begin collecting a modest parcel tax that for the next 30 years will allow every 3- and 4-year-old in Oakland to be able to afford preschool. Every study shows that this is the best investment that we can make of the public dollar, and Oakland is now going to be able to provide that type of assistance for every one of our youngest children, where that mind development matters the most, as well as some of those funds will also help support the same work that the Oakland Promise has been doing to get our kids to and through college or trade school. This is going to revolutionize the success of our young people, something that we should all be proud of. We also are going to continue to address homelessness and housing at all levels. One thing I've learned as the mayor of Oakland is often we cannot solve our problems alone. And so I have worked to achieve leadership roles at both the state and the federal level to position Oakland, and in fact, all of California, for more resources to address our housing and homelessness crisis. I'm proud to have just been elected the first Oakland mayor and the first woman to chair the Big City Mayors of California. That's the 13 largest cities in California that 4 years ago banded together and got a direct allocation from the state's budget for cities to address homelessness. We are a bipartisan group. One thing we all agree on is that homelessness is threatening the California dream, and it has to be our highest priority. I also serve as the co-chair along with a Republican mayor, Mayor John Giles of Mesa, Arizona, of the National Mayors and CEOs for U.S. Housing Investment that is also advocating for more federal resources, particularly Section 8 housing choice vouchers, another great public-private partnership to really address our housing and homelessness crisis. And then finally, I am so excited that this year, I think Oakland is gonna hit an infrastructure home run. Proud to have been invited by our president, Joe Biden, and our Oakland native, Kamala Harris, our vice president, to actually be there when the president signed that $1.3 trillion infrastructure bill. I was at the White House on Monday. By Friday of that same week, the Deputy Secretary of Transportation was in Oakland to announce the first of what I believe will be many investments of federal infrastructure dollars in Oakland. $14.5 million to kick off our Town for All vision. And Town for All is a comprehensive remaking of all of our mobility systems in our downtown, West Oakland, Chinatown, around Lake Merritt. The idea is to make our transportation systems safer, more environmentally cleaner, as well as to help people move around, and especially to help everybody get to our waterfront. And why would people be wanting to go to our waterfront? Because there is going to be a new Oakland A's ballpark at Howard Terminal that is going to get approved this year. I've got a picture of it to get you all excited. This is so much more than just a ballpark. And look at what a beautiful, innovative ballpark it is. This is a new neighborhood, bringing back to life and public access a part of our beautiful waterfront that is not participating in economic development right now. This is going to have more than 18 acres of publicly accessible waterfront parks, more than 1 million square feet of retail and office space, a new conference center and performing arts center. This is a whole neighborhood, 3,000 units of housing, including many deeply affordable for those who need it the most. And it is going to also help attract that valuable infrastructure funding to not just make sure that the Port of Oakland, right, Seth? The Port of Oakland is going to keep being that valuable economic engine that it is. But we actually can take this moment, the excitement, the energy for the new ballpark and the new neighborhood to create a safer separation for port transit and transportation and all the other uses that try to compete for that valuable space along our waterfront. That is what we're going to do this year. I'm excited about 2022. It has been the privilege of a lifetime to serve as the mayor of our hometown, my hometown, and always to be a very proud Rotarian. So with that, I thank you and I welcome your questions.
Thank you very much, Libby. It's Mayor Schaaf.
Dudley, you can call me Libby.
When I knew you, you were Libby. let me first say, I appreciate all of this street work. I blew out a tire in a pothole on San Pablo Avenue a couple of years ago. And honestly, you were the first person I thought of. It's the dilemma of every mayor, although your issues get beyond potholes, which I'm sure that becomes most mayors. And one of our members wanted to talk about the town project. I know that some of your people are in the audience and watching this, and I hope that part of your addressing will answer his. There are two people that whenever we have a public person come, really want to get in here, and I really do want them to do it. Elita Scola, who owns Galleria Scola, you probably know, she's had her place broken into, but her question is, what do I do about homeless sleeping at Galleria Scola's front door?
Well, first of all, let me apologize to you. I think as Oaklanders, it's hard for us because we're very compassionate, and yet it is not okay for people to be blocking folks' businesses, their homes. It's not okay for the blight that has come with our unsheltered neighbors. And so a couple things. One, please report this to 311. And Justin, you can maybe pop that in the chat for me. If you can call 311 or you can email the 311 to make sure that we know about this individual and we can try and send out some outreach workers. I do want to commend Councilmember Lauren Taylor for actually drafting and getting passed an encampment management policy that actually states that these areas near businesses, near entrances to home are what we call high sensitivity zones, and that it is our policy to try and relocate people to places where the conflict will not be as great. Obviously, our number one priority is to have sufficient housing, and if not housing, temporary housing, shelter for everyone. But until that time, we are trying to manage the amount of homelessness that we have here in Oakland. And I do want to add, just to clarify, any misperceptions, the vast majority of the homeless in Oakland, I can't speak to other cities, but according to our last survey, they were last housed in this community. I have run into people I went to high school with that are homeless in Oakland. So please know that most of these folks are our neighbors, and we are trying to get them back into housing as well as prevent them from losing their housing in the first place. But those are the two numbers to call. 311 to report the encampment to the city of Oakland. Also, if you run into someone who's homeless and you want to help them try and connect to some services, 211. 211 is the number for social services. It serves all of Alameda County. It's also where you can find out if someone doesn't have internet access, you can find out where you could get a free vaccination, booster shot, or COVID test. 211 is the one-stop shop for social services.
I'm going to give you one more question. And some of the questions had to do with crime and getting police levels up. And again, a few of our members live right on Lake Merritt. And I know this is something that many are concerned about, but let me just ask it. This comes from Leanne Alameda. Thank you, Mayor, for coming today. I live near Lake Merritt. My neighbors and I have had to struggle through numerous problems that impact our health and safety for years. Many of my neighbors have had to move out of Oakland because living near the lake was detrimental to their mental and physical health. Shortly, we will have dozens of illegal vendors, including alcohol and drug vendors, and events with amplified sound start back at the lake. It would be greatly beneficial to have you as mayor take a strong stand and communicate widely that illegal vending and events will not be allowed in this wildlife refuge and the rules will be enforced. Is that something you can do?
Well, I lived on the lake myself for 15 years and my parents still live on the lake, so I am there frequently, and I know that this has been a rough time. Something about COVID has brought people to the lake. It seems like the lake is the one place people feel like life can still be normal and we can gather safely, and that has had many unintended consequences. I want to be very honest with you. Government struggles when a critical mass of people are not willing to voluntarily follow our rules. Anybody who's gone through a 4th of July in the city of Oakland knows that our laws in and of themselves do not compel lawful behavior. And that is part of the struggle we've had with the lake. How we have tried to deal with it, and you've seen us dedicate tremendous resources to blocking off the parking to make it harder for people to actually come and spend the whole day at the lake. We've also legalized a new area for legal vending, permitted vending that's farther away from residents, because clearly there's a need and desire both for vendors to make a little money during this pandemic and also for people to have an attraction, something to go to. And so we blocked off Embarcadero to create an actual vending space to try and bring people away from where the conflict was the greatest. I have heard people feeling like many of those measures have significantly improved matters at the lake. Now, there is always room for more improvement, and I really do feel for people that suddenly have Oakland's new outdoor party spot in their front yards. I noticed Karen Friedman has talked about the growing encampment at Snow Park. Nobody should tell you that it's going to be ignored. That is not our policy whatsoever. And I can get back to you, Karen, on that. What I will tell you is that our process for dealing with encampments is very compassionate, and that means it also is slow. We really work to get voluntary compliance. When we have determined that an encampment actually must be moved, we work to try and move people into shelter, into a better situation. And sometimes that means we have to wait for those spots to open up. But we do work very hard, warning people, giving them lots of notice. And in part, that's because Oakland has been sued. I'm thinking it's going on 7 times now. I personally have been named in these lawsuits. Pretty much every time we shut down an encampment, we are sued. And so we are very careful. First of all, it's our values to be compassionate and try to work with people, but it is also a legal necessity that we provide a lot of due process and notice and try and compel voluntary compliance because we are very reluctant to use force. And I hope that most of you support that approach. But Karen, don't give up. It just could be that it is in the process for resolution, and that can take some time. But I will hook back with you. You've got my email, so please feel free to check in with me directly.
Thank you, Mayor Schaaf. Once upon a time, we were younger Rotarians, and we often say that it's also a place for leadership development. And you and I came up with a project. It was kind of a grand project. We didn't do very well on it, but it's a great place. Rotary was a place for us to try out something. You've gone on to have great ideas and great projects and fulfilled many of them. I hope this has been a great part of your life to be Mayor of Oakland, and we appreciate you being a member of our club as well. This year, we're highlighting the new Rotary area of focus, the environment. In your honor, we're making a donation to the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, SRAG, toward their focus on biodiversity, sustainable living, pollution, the climate, food systems, and a circular economy. Thank you so much for being a part of our Civic Thursday. Before you came on, I was going to say, it looks like I recall that you just probably came from KTVU studio to our studio, although it looks like it's the same studio, I guess.
It's my living room. I'll just be honest.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. It's greatly appreciated. Sandeepa, there's, Libby, I'm sorry, Mayor Schaaf. We let Mayor Brown go over our 1:30 time a few minutes, although people were walking out of the ballroom for him. So people can just go offline, I guess. But we want to hear a bunch of bell ringers here. Sandeepa, I know there's some bell ringers out there. Would you please share them with us?
Absolutely. So starting from the bottom, we have Isaac ringing the bell for the mayor and affirmation of Measure AA to help Oakland kids and Oakland Promise. Then we have Gabriel Burke for Michael Burke. Then we have Julie Fox rings the bell for Michael and Carolyn Burke. Then we had a lot more. So
Tom Lamone just rang it.
Tom Lamone.
Yeah, Gabriel Burke ringing again for Michael Burke. And we have, I'm still going up, still more.
There's a bunch of them for Michael there.
Stephen Blair, Michael Burke. Stephen Blair rings bell for Michael Burke. Ring bell twice by Kevin Hunter. One for Jean Zahas, another for Wendy Howard. Then we have past President Seth ringing the bell for Michael Burke.
And I'll ring the bell for the mayor as well.
Keith Groin ringing the bell for Michael and Caroline. Nick ringing the bell for Michael and Caroline. And Linda Bosnicker rings the bell for Burks. Daniel ring the bell for Michael and Caroline. Karen Friedman rings the bell for Michael and Caroline. Then we have Holgram ringing the bell for Michael. Joe Gorelka ringing the bell for Kevin in honor of Jean Zahas. And oh my God, I need some water. So that's it.
So
then we have Joycey Mack just now ringing the bell for Mayor Chef.
So if we go by this,
Oh, thank you, Steve Lowe.
Yeah.
It's been
I'll ring the bell for Libby.
in Steve's office.
I'll ring the bell for
rings
Libby.
the bell for Mayor Schaaf.
Yeah. There are
I
some
ring the bell for Mayor Schaaf.
Now
There's Tommy Edwards, I think.
Yeah, it's Tommy Edwards and Derek, and we have Keith and Gary Flaxman and Joycey Mack, all for Mayor Libby Schaaf. It is ringing, it is raining money, y'all.
I told you I'm Oakland's hustler in chief.
So before you came on, Libby, I was asking Michael if he was going to run for mayor of Oakland, but it looks like you might run for mayor of Piedmont next. Okay, everyone. Thank you again for all your bell ringers. Thank you, Debo, for your thought for the day. Past President, past District Governor Ed Jelen. And thank you, District Governor Richard Flanders, for being out there today. Wendy and Keith, thank you for introducing Kevin Hunter and Jean Rains. You're so welcome. We hope you have a great experience and become lifers with Rotary. Past President Michael Bruck, President-elect Mary Jeong, thank you. Past President Seth Butner, Tricia Connors, the Honorable Libby Schaaf, and is David Stein out there?
I'm here. Can you hear
David,
me?
can you put a spotlight on David?
So next week, Rotarians, we're going to turn from local to national politics. Kind of appropriate to promote it today on the 1-year anniversary of the siege of the Capitol. Our speaker will be Roy Neal. Roy was the chief of staff to Vice President Al Gore, and then the deputy chief of staff to Bill Clinton. He went on, he managed the transition and the Florida recount for the Gore campaign. So he's very familiar with electoral politics and the Electoral College. He's now an adjunct professor at Vanderbilt teaching presidential transition. And he's going to talk to us about the looming Electoral College catastrophe. Come learn how the Electoral College actually works and the dangers that it poses for 2024. Next week at Oakland Rotary.
Thank you, David. Do I say mahalo and aloha to you, or are you back? Or
I'm back.
Okay. Anyway, thank you. And thanks so much for the AV team. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Remember, we are Rotary, serve to change lives, and don't keep Rotary a secret. Libby, I said you used to say Rotary is the best secret in town. Let's get over that. Don't keep Rotary a secret, folks. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.